What's up guys, Rob here with RJ Gaming, coming back to you with another World of Warcraft video. We're sitting here in Battle for Azeroth, down here in Borealis Harbor, and today I got a special video for you guys, a little bit more of an informational video. We're going to talk a little bit about the mind shift and the mindset when you hit max level. I haven't had this happen in quite some time, for the past, I don't know, fucking year and a half, I think. Yeah, a year, 2 years, I don't know. It's been a while since I've capped a character to max level. I've had my one main character, my monk healer, so I've been just running with him. Recently, my bro PJL Daily, shout out to you, bro. He got onto the game, getting into WoW, so I started leveling with him. I was like, man, you know, I'd really like to try tanking, and so I started a tank. And I leveled this Bob Steven bro. You guys have been, if you've been watching my other videos, have seen him and his adventures coming up through the ranks. So I hit max level. I'm thinking to myself, for a new player who's never played Battle for Azeroth, who's hitting max level for the first time, it can be quite daunting, actually. Like, what the fuck do I do now? Like, you know, when you're leveling, it's all about leveling. Level. You know, how quick can you level? How much experience can you get? Oh, look, this quest gives me good experience. Oh, this dungeon gives me good experience. So you're leveling all the way up through, and that's all it's about. What's the next level? What's the next ability? What's the next quest? What's the next dungeon? Boom, 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 boom. Get to max level, and all of a sudden, everything that was the focus before is gone. You don't have to worry about experience anymore. So you're like, well shit, now what? You're sitting there and it's kind of confusing at first. You're like running around, you're like, well what the fuck, like I don't have another level. There's nowhere to go. What do I do? Like it's over, the game's over. The game, my friends, I'm here to tell you, is far from over. You are just starting World of Warcraft when you hit max level. So today, the focus of the video is to kind of show you guys why. Why is it that, you know, when you hit max level, the game is just starting? What's the mind shift? And the way that I'm going to word it is, you're shifting from a leveling mindset to a gear optimization mindset, okay? So we're going to kind of break down a few things in this video and talk about different ways that you can get gear when you're max level. Now, I'm going to preface this, I'm going to pause myself for a minute before I go into my crazy Rob bullshit that I normally do. You can play WoW in a multitude of ways, so I'm going to piggyback off of a video Asmongold had done recently. He had talked a little bit about this, where, you know, people, and this is more directed, his video is more directed towards WoW Classic, but he basically said, people bitch constantly in this game about how people play the game. Well, you're not doing it right. You should be over here getting this piece of gear. You should be, you know, in this dungeon. You should be doing Mythic Plus. You should be a raider. Like, blah, 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 blah. Well, fuck everybody when it comes to, like, how you play the game. The beauty of World of Warcraft is you can play the game any way that you want, okay? If you want to be a filthy casual, I'm just kidding, a casual player, and you just want to run around and do quests and never walk in a dungeon in your life, fuck it. Who cares? Have fun, man. That's the beauty of WoW. It's an open world MMORPG. That is what the game is. Period. That's just what it is. Alright guys? That's just what it is. So if you want to do that, or you want to be the top end raider, you want to be part of the fucking best raid team, you want to go play for Method someday, or you know, whatever, and you want to be on Twitch and YouTube and make this a career, you can be that top level. You can fight for that top level. Or you can get battle pets and go fight pets against each other. I've never had an interest in doing that. I've never done it. I wouldn't be able to tell you how to do it. You could do that. Hey, you know, guys, that's the beauty of the game. If you want to do professions, a lot of people like professions and doing the auction house and earning gold and just selling items and stuff like that. Then do that. If you want to be an achievement person where you want to get all the achievements done in the game, you know, if you're an achievement guy, great, go do achievements. If you're, you know, I don't know, if you want to be more into Mythic Plus, you can do Mythic Plus. Like, there's so many ways you can play the game. There's people that even just come on the game and role play, you know? It's like, They role play the game. Oh my god, I'm talking so much, even my screen is like, hey Rob. So that to me is key. I'm gonna preface this video with that. So today's video focus, if you're not about gear optimization, if you are about playing battle paths or role playing or transmog for your appearances and stuff, this video is not for you. You probably should just close it unless you just want to listen to me ramble about gear optimization. However, for a good majority of players, I feel like, including myself, when you hit max level, it's about the gear, guys. It's about getting stronger, okay? So, today's focus of this video is going to be how the hell do I change my mindset from leveling to gearing in World of Warcraft when I hit max level. So, without further ado, let's take a peek here. So the first thing we're going to talk about is we're going to talk about world quests. Alright guys, now I'm going to correct myself from earlier videos. I had told you guys that you had to go into Kultiris, had to get friendly in each of these areas, then you had to go over here to Zandalar and do the 7th Legion things. Not true. I found this out yesterday, actually last night. So I started doing the 7th Legion stuff over here in Zandalar. And I've only finished these two areas, Vol'dun and Nazmir. But when I hit max level, something interesting happened. I got a quest. And this may be different for you guys, so I'm not sure of the specifics. But I got a quest from this guy right here. Okay? And he gave me literally just, it was just like emissary quests. It just said like, or world quests. You click on him and it said, earn access to world quests. And you hit it, you complete the quest, and boom. World quest then opened up for me. So I don't know. I didn't complete the 7th Legion thing. I will show you guys right now as proof. I am neutral with the Order of Embers. I'm friendly. I guess I'm friendly with these guys. I'm neutral with Storm's Wake and Tortolan. So I'm neutral with a lot of guys that, quote unquote, I'm supposed to be friendly with to open emissaries and world quests. So toss out that advice, guys. You'll probably end up getting a quest from this guy earlier on. To open up your world quests. So that's the first thing. So let's take a look at that. On our map, world quests are actually a great way to get gear when you hit max level, guys. You open up world quests. So it's basically like, you know, you've been questing before in your leveling experience, you get the little exclamation point, you go and you do whatever they tell you to do in the quest, you go and you get the question mark, you turn it in, and you're golden. You get your XP. Well, now it's not about XP, right? So we're going to start looking at world quests. Here's our different areas in the world. As you can see, I haven't even traveled around with this guy. I haven't even opened up the damn map. It's crazy. So world quests are these circular things here, and if you hover over each one, it'll tell you, like, oh, here we go, right here. Fist weapon. Item level 345 and up. It could be higher. And here's your stats. So if you go and kill this Whitney Steelclaw Ramsey, you'll end up getting this piece of gear. Simple as that, guys. Click on it, you know, go do it, get your gear. Sometimes you got artifact power, we'll talk about that in a minute. There's another one. There's a ring. You know, you just hover over. Each world quest offers war resources to be able to send out your people, your followers and helpers. Reputation, to increase the reputation in different areas. So that's a great way to get gear. And I can just go through here. Some of them are gold. Some of them are, like I said, reputation. So, you know, search through here. And if you're looking for, boy, you know, my legs are level 200 something. You know, you're probably going to come in about, I don't know, what is my guy right now? Most of my gear, well, I've upgraded a lot of it actually. But, like, look, this is horrible. I got a 146 waist. That's terrible. That's my weakest piece of gear. So if you just take a peek real quick and say, oh man, is there a waist piece of gear in one of these world quests? I'm going to go do it. And upgrade this gear. Now all of this gear here, these numbers get averaged into an average item level. This guy right here. This average item level is kind of what drives a lot of your content and WoW, a lot of like what you're able to do. So for instance, I'm 311.38 for my average item level. If I go into my dungeon finder, because you can still use the dungeon finder at max level if you want, and I go into specific dungeons just to look. So here's all your normal difficulty dungeons. I can do any one of these. See, I can get a check and I can apply. But look at heroic. I have locks over mine, and what it'll tell you is you need a higher average item level. 345 is required to even click the button to find a group for heroic. You know, they do this just to prevent people from really shitty gear getting in there and fucking everybody else over, basically. You've got this minimum threshold that you need to meet. And this kind of progresses all the way through. So there's your heroics. Now, let's talk a little bit about dungeons. So dungeons, I mean, right now with my gear, normal dungeons would be fine, just to keep doing normal dungeons. Maybe this will drop, a waste will drop, maybe some other gear will drop. You know, I can't remember what normals have been dropping for me. I believe 370 is what I got. I think I got this actually from a dungeon. So around 370. So pretty big actually. Most of my gear when I came to max level was in the 200s. So that's a big jump. So just doing normal dungeons and doing world quests and getting your gear up that way, phenomenal way to get gear. So like I said, you can do those. The other thing I want to talk to you guys about is special events. So this guy down here, I don't have it on this character. I wish I still had it. But when you go to this guy, each week he has a special quest that is for the week. Some of it's for emissaries to complete. Some of it's for, you know, different things. This week was time walking. So when I walked up to this guy, he offers a quest where if you do 5 time walking dungeons, he gives you a level 415 piece of gear. Crazy, guys. And I'll prove it. This gear right here, my best piece, if you look, is my legs. Look at this. 415, guys. The piece of gear is worth 75 gold on its own. I mean, that's great for, I mean, that's easy access to one great piece of gear. So you go do 5 time walking dungeons, you get your 415 piece of gear. Easy as that. And the time walking dungeons drop great gear too. And they drop those time walking badges. So it's just like you find the most efficient ways to make use of your time when you're looking at gear optimization. That's kind of how I'll word it. So like if I come in online and I only have an hour to play, this week I have, you know, let's say you probably couldn't do 5 dungeons in an hour, but let's say you had a couple hours this week and it was your only day to play and time walking was open. Are you going to sit there and do world quests, you know, and get these pieces of gear like this? No. You know, this is a 345. This 415 is only good. That's that week. That's it. So, you know, if you're looking to optimize and you enjoy the content and you like doing that kind of stuff, I'm going to do time walking for those couple hours, and that's all I'm going to do that week because I'm going to snag that key piece of gear. So I don't know if that makes a lot of sense, but you want to optimize your time. You know, you want to look at how much time do I have to play today. If you've got all day to play, if you're like, this week is a big WoW week for me, I'm excited, I got all kinds of time to play, that's kind of like this weekend for me. I've had tons of time to play. I feel very blessed. I love it. I've had a great weekend, you know, mixed time with my brother and myself. But if you got all kinds of time, you know, my plan was to level this guy up, get emissaries open, get world quests open, do time walking, do normal dungeons, do world quests, and do islands, which we'll talk about in a minute as well. I'm going to do everything this weekend. All of it, because I've got the time. So you kind of have to look at your time and look at, you know, how can I optimize my time. So if this guy's world quest is open, check him out and see if it's something that's going to offer some good gear. Other thing I want to mention before I get too far into my soapbox here is emissaries. So I completed all 3 of my emissaries when they opened last night. I did 12, right? 3, 4. I'm terrible at math. 3 times 4, so 12 quests. So each emissary quest, this is kind of like a little special extra bonus for doing world quests. So that's all it is. So you hover over the coin, you get one of these every 24 hours. So every morning, like for me, it's 10 a.m. resets. You get a new one. So right now it's, let's see what time it is. 10:44. So obviously at 10 o'clock they reset and gave me a new emissary. So when you click on this emissary, you click on the coin. It says complete 4 world quests in Zandalar. The reward is 200 war resources. Like I said, war resources you can use to buy items. You can buy rerolls on good gear, which I can show you guys. You can buy, you can send out your followers on missions to get you gold and to get your resources. So that's kind of good to have war resources. So it's basically extra to do these 4 quests. So I'm gonna look in here and see, like, all right, which ones have gear? Do any of them have gear? Maybe. Oh, here we go. But look, their legs. I already have a 415, so I'm not gonna worry about that. I'm just gonna kind of keep going here and see does any more of these have gear. So they don't. Looks like. So I don't know. After that, I probably like this guy is new. I'll probably do the ones that contain war resources because I need to build up my war resources. And there's also ones that have straight up gold, guys. Like look at that. Ooh, I might do this one. Item level 340, Azurite armor. So that's gonna be probably one that I'll end up doing. So yeah, that's how I'll do that. So you do 4 of those, pick the ones that interest you the most and are going to optimize what you're doing. And then you'll go and turn this in. Oh, actually there's a bunch. You can do a bunch. I forgot because it's the whole area, guys. It's in Zandalar. So it's that whole area, this whole thing. So any of these quests, look at they're all lit up. That's another thing I'll mention. So if you go to a quest that's not part of the emissary, it won't be lit up. See how there's not a gold circle around it? So you're not confused. But when you click on it, you'll get gold circles around all the ones that are eligible. But look at that. If you keep hitting it, look at all the quests. Look at them. You can do any of those. Look at, so there's other ones that are probably have gear that I haven't even looked at, you know? Back to there. Look at this. You know? So, I mean, that's pretty awesome as well. So use the emissary quests, you know, as they pop up too as a resource. Sometimes the emissary quests offer gear as the reward. So for this particular emissary quest, you go over to Magni Bronzebeard in another area and basically turn it in and get your reward. So there's that. What else do I want to tell you guys about? Okay. I know people are probably gonna... Some people haven't enjoyed this content in the game. I don't mind it. I think it's kind of fun. Warfronts. Okay? Warfronts are another way. So we've gone over emissary quests and world quests. We've gone over dungeons. This is another way to get gear when you first come in to Battle for Azeroth. So there's 2 different levels. So you can have normal and heroic. Whichever ones are open are the ones you can join. Now, if you look, requires item level 350. You must be in a raid group to join a heroic warfront. So there's different things you have to meet to be able to join these. And these are large groups. You drop in and you do kind of like a mini invasion, if you will, and try to take back control of an area for the Alliance from the Horde. So you're basically in a big group of people. You go in there and you knock stuff down. You rebuild things. You grab lumber to build up your armories and stuff like that. It's kind of cool. Some people don't enjoy it. I think it's something different, you know, so it's kind of neat. It's not my favorite thing to do in the game, but it is something different. So that's kind of cool. And then you can grab the quests from this guy. So you always grab the quest first, and it'll say like Heroic Warfront. And look at this. Level 430 piece of gear, guys. Now, Heroic Warfronts are no joke, man. And you actually have to have your own group to do them. You can't queue into a group. You have to create your own group. So you kind of have to be selective about who you take in there. They're no joke. I mean, you got to get them done, man. It's not for someone who's brand new into BFA at max level. But you also get these 7th Legion service medals. These are kind of cool. You can spend these over right behind this guy. If you go over here, you can go to the service medal quartermaster, and this girl has all kinds of stuff to offer. But what's cool is there's actually mounts. I've already purchased this one, and then there's this one I'm saving up for right now. I've got none on this character for the badges, but I've got a bunch on my other character. So that's how you spend those. So that's just another extra kind of little reward you get for doing that content. So let's delve into dungeons a little bit more. So you've got obviously 3 different difficulties. You've got normal, heroic, and you've got mythic. Now, obviously mythic is kind of your highest, toughest difficulty, but then you have mythic plus. Now, one of my favorite things in the game is mythic plus. Honestly, guys, mythic plus is amazing. It's a lot of fun. I've had some of my most frustrating, angry, pissed off moments in Mythic Plus, and I've also had some of my most rewarding. I just like I've never been so happy in my life moments in Mythic Plus. It's challenging content, guys. It challenges you, it pushes you, and it's just if you're not able to so there's to me in my mind there's 2 high level content pieces in the game, like the highest level you can do in WoW. There's raiding. High level mythic rating, which is that's like the pillar of top content in the game. And then on the other side, you have Mythic Plus. Mythic Plus actually can be just as challenging as Mythic Rating, depending on how high you go and how tough you make it. So let's explain how this happens. So as a new player now, or a new character here in BFA for me, I'm actually going to be doing mostly normal until I can get into heroic. Okay, so heroic, what was our requirement again? We'll take a look here. Let's see. So our 345. So once I hit 345, so I'll be doing emissaries, and I'll be doing world quests, and I'll be doing normal dungeons, and probably some time walking still, while it's still open, until I hit 345. Once I hit 345, the gear that drops from normal isn't really going to be as relevant, so I'm going to want to start switching into heroic difficulty. So same dungeons, just a little tougher. Bosses have a little more health. Your mobs have a little more health. Nothing really changes the dungeon, just kind of tougher. Alright. So we got heroic. That's probably what I'll do, obviously, for a bit. I'll be running heroics until I get up high enough. Now, mythic level dungeons are not... There's no really like, hey, this is how good you have to be. This is where we get into kind of a different... This is where we kind of get into the toughest content. Alright, I'll say the toughest content. Some people like laugh. They're like, dude, mythic dungeons are not that hard. Mythic plus dungeons are, but mythic, we'll call it mythic plus 0, like the standard mythic difficulty above heroic. They're like, that's not that hard. But I'll tell you, for someone who's new, it can be really tough. So what we do is you go to pre-made groups. You can't queue, once you get above heroic, you can't queue for mythic level anymore. Like you've got to find your own groups. So you go into pre-made groups and you go into dungeons and you hit find group. Now all the dungeons that are live in the game right now, all of them in the whole game of WoW, are right here in this list. So we have a pretty big list. So you can see the pluses. Those are all your mythic pluses, and then you have your plus zeros. So this one right here, this is a standard mythic difficulty, which is above heroic. Standard. So if, let's say you just finished heroics, you're doing a bunch of heroics, and you think, boy, you know, I think I'm ready to go into a mythic dungeon. You can click on right on here and hit sign up. And the leader of this group, this tank who's putting this group together, is going to look at you. He's going to look at what you've done. He's going to inspect your gear. He's going to look at what dungeons you've done, how well you've done. And he's going to say, you know what, this guy's performed pretty well. He's been doing a lot of dungeons. It looks like he's been, you know, doing all the right things to do Mythic 0. I'm going to bring him in. So he'll invite you to the group. And then they'll find the rest of the group. He'll put the group together. And then you guys will actually physically go to the dungeon to Tol Dagor. And you'll enter the dungeon and complete it on Mythic difficulty. So that's kind of cool. Now he may look at you and say, like, let's say I applied right now, which I could do. I could apply. He's going to go, are you kidding me? He's going to look at my gear. He's going to see this number. And he's going to decline instantly. And the reason being, I just don't have good enough gear to do it. I could be the best WoW player in the fucking world. Cream of the crop, baby. And I just don't have good enough gear to do it. It ain't going to happen. So he just denies it. Boom. See ya. Peace. So then you just continue. So if you're getting declined a lot, guys, don't get discouraged. I want to tell you guys that some of these guys, see, he just brought in a damage dealer. Like he's building his group. Don't get discouraged if you get denied. Please don't get discouraged. Some of these guys have some fucking high standards, man. My monk is a healer, and I have been a raider with that monk. So I have a lot of great history when you look at my Raider IO progress, which is like an add-on to measure how well you've done. I've got a pretty good Raider IO score, and I've done every dungeon on that monk multiple times, multiple mythic pluses, and I've been denied sometimes 6-7 times in a row for mythic plus. Why? Because sometimes that week monks aren't the strongest. Some tanks may have just run 2 dungeons with monks that were horrible, and they're just like, I cannot have another monk healer in my mythic play. I just need a change. So you don't know the reason. You don't know the reason. So just don't get discouraged. Keep applying. You can apply for up to 5 groups at a time. So you can go through here and say, okay, I want to do this one. I want to try for that one. Obviously they already have a tank, so I wouldn't apply for it. But like, if you see one that you want to do, you know, apply for this one, you know, and you can go through and sign up for each one. And then the first one that invites you, you go in and you get it done. Now Mythic Plus, so Mythic, just like with a regular dungeon, you run through every boss, so all the mobs drop stuff, and then also the boss drops. So you kill a boss, and you go to loot it, and that's it. Now, Mythic Plus, we'll talk about a little bit. Mythic Plus, so this is like +2 is the first, that's the first difficulty level for Mythic Plus. So, what we're going to look at here, the new season, which is nice. So what we're going to look at is you have your, all your different ones here. So this is obviously a brand new season. So I'll be starting a little bit lower. Let's refresh our page. Mythic Plus 2 and 3, up through, they get harder and harder. Now, the highest, what happens in Mythic Plus is at the end of the dungeon, all of the bosses don't drop anything. Mythic Plus is timed. So you're on a timer. You're trying to beat that timer. That's kind of the goal in Mythic Plus, is to beat that timer. So what you're going to do is go in there and you're going to crank against this timer and try to beat it. If you beat the timer, you actually end up getting rewards based on how well you beat the timer. So at the end of the dungeon, if the timer, it doesn't get beat, you still get gear. But it's just not as good as if you had beat it, obviously. And the other thing is, the person who has the mythic keystone he's the holder of the key. So what it means is they're the ones that have to they don't have to put the group together, but they usually do. And when you get into the beginning of any of these dungeons, you end up getting in there, and there's a little like special slot that you put this key into. And that activates the Mythic Plus. It changes the dungeon into a Mythic Plus dungeon based on how high the key is. So if it's a +2, it'll make it a +2. Now, the higher you go, the worse it gets. So what Mythic Plus does is it actually adds stuff into the dungeon. Sometimes it adds more mobs. So where normally there'd be 3 or 4 pieces of trash you have to kill, now all of a sudden there's 6 or 10. Some of them, it just gives it more health. Each boss gets more health. 20, 30% more health, whatever. So they call them affixes in those keystones, end up being harder and harder based on how high the key goes. So I think that's kind of interesting, and it makes the game really fun. Now, the highest you can go, you can keep going as high as you want, but gear-wise, Mythic Plus 10 is kind of like every week everybody tries to do their Mythic Plus 10. They try to crank out a +10. Some people try to do it on each character each week. And I'll show you guys kind of like what ends up happening at the end of the week. So on Tuesday morning, every morning there's a reset on Tuesday morning. That's where you'll get your this big Mythic Plus chest is down. I'm gonna fly back over there and show you guys. I don't know, it's just so cool each week, because you're like, boy, I wonder what I'm going to get in my Mythic Plus chest. Now, depending on how high of a level you did, let's say you did a +2, that gear in that chest is going to be guaranteed to a certain level for Mythic Plus 2. So let's say, for instance, I'm just using this as references, these aren't official numbers. Let's say that it's 400. So you're guaranteed a piece of 400 gear if you do a +2. Then if you do a +3, it's 405. Then if you do a +4, it's 410. Then if you do, up and up and up and up, and then let's say like Mythic Plus 10, you're guaranteed a piece of 440 gear, 445 gear. I mean, that's like, wow, guys. That's awesome. So that's kind of the idea of it, is how hard can you push yourself against a timer with another group to get the best gear possible. That's what Mythic Plus is, guys. It's so cool. It's so cool. And it can be so challenging. You guys can look back at some of my YouTube videos from my healing videos. But in here, this big old chest right here, this is the Mythic Plus chest. I'll show you, it'll tell me, complete a Mythic Keystone dungeon and return next week to claim your reward. See? So, this is where it is right here. And that's really it, guys. I mean, I guess I can go over real quick. This has been a long video. I'm so sorry for talking so much, but I'm just trying to help you guys out when you first get into next level here. So, so another thing you guys need to look at is there's three azurite pieces of armor that you get. They're very special pieces of armor. So you have your head piece, your shoulder piece, and your chest piece. those 3 pieces are going to be Azerite armor in Battle for Azeroth. So they're different from other pieces of gear, and the reason they're different, I'll show you. So here's my chest piece, for instance. Right here. So it still has regular stats on it, but what it also has is these rings around each. There's the outer ring, the middle ring, and then the centerpiece. So every time you go out and you do something in the world, you get this stuff called Azerite power. So Azerite power is what powers up your Azerite armor. Now, the center of all this, I'll back up for a second. The center of all this is your neck. So your Azerite armor pieces is your head, your shoulders, and your chest. Then you have this thing called the Heart of Azeroth. It sits on your neck. This heart powers all of the Azerite stuff. So in your heart, if you look at it, you actually have a higher and higher level based on what level your Heart of Azeroth is. So like mine's at 17. I just barely started. Max level I believe is 70 or 60. I have my monk up there. It's pretty high. But the higher you go, the better you can make your gear. So for instance, like I'll go on the headpiece now. So when you first get a piece of Azerite gear, this comes up and you'll have different options. See, like this one right here, Chaotic Transformation. There's one over here. So it's kind of like, I guess I could compare it to talents, like when you guys pick talents. So this is like picking talents. So you pick the one that's best for you, and then it slots it up in here and makes it active. See how it's like glowing? So this one, Fracture has a chance to rip lesser soul fragments. So they like basically it just makes me more powerful. I won't go into each ability. And then down here, it actually increases the item level of the gear by 5, and increases the potency of all Azerite powers by this item. So this piece of Azerite gear is maxed out, but the gear is only a 285 piece. So I want to be building up my Azerite pieces more and more and more. But in order to upgrade, like here's a perfect example, my chest piece. Look at this. This third one that normally I'd want upgraded requires Heart of Azeroth level 20. So I need to go out and get more Azerite power to be able to activate this. So, different ways to do that. Obviously, like we were saying, out in the world, there's different quests that give you Azerite power. Or, I'm sorry, artifact power. Gives you Azerite, but like it gives you artifact power. So, this artifact power, like this one's 189, this one's 185. But one of the best ways to get it, guys, I mean, you can, obviously with World Quest, if you happen to get it, that's great. Oh, here we go. Yeah, that's what I thought. Artifact power. Here we go. So I was calling it Azerite power. My bad. My bad. It's the same thing, basically. But anyway, yeah. So you could, but one of the best ways to do it is islands. So down here on this table, we're kind of in the center here of town. You can go down to this dude and you can click on this table. And look at this. It's kind of like a dungeon finder. Think of it as a dungeon finder. So when you use the dungeon finder, you have normal and heroic. So you can do either one. I'm actually high enough. See, like this one, you need 315. This requires a party of 3 for PvP. But there's normal, heroic, mythic, and player versus player. Now these are kind of fun, actually. When I first started playing BFA, I was like, eh, they're okay. They've made them a lot more fun. Guys, there's mounts in here that drop. There's all kinds of stuff, guys. It's so cool. But one of the biggest things is Azerite. No. Artifact power. Let me just make sure I say it right. So look at this. Look at this, guys. 3,500 artifact power to your Heart of Azeroth, your neck piece, if you fill this bar. See this bar right here? So we need 36,000 Azerite to get this artifact power. What do you do in these babies? Well, you go through and you kill mobs. I've got videos actually on my YouTube channel if you guys want to check it out. Maybe I'll run through one with my tank just to show you guys kind of what it's all about. It's fun. It's fast paced. You're basically going against the horde, trying to complete it quicker than they are. You pull up on these islands with your boats, and you're basically trying to get as much Azerite as you can, and get it quicker than the other faction. And then if you complete it and you win, so like this here gives you 300 artifact power for doing each one. But then what I've noticed is it gives you 9,000, right around 9,000 Azerite per heroic if you do heroics. So if you do 4 heroics, you fill this bar. It's awesome. So a lot of time each week, if I'm actually trying to get artifact power for my Heart of Azeroth, I'll do 4 heroics a week. So 4 heroics a week kind of fills this bar and maximizes it. I don't really do many islands after that. 4 is enough for me to kind of get my fill for islands. But this is another way. So you can kind of see, guys, there's a layering system here. And you know, it's complicated at first. I know it sounds like, holy shit, you know, this is a lot of information, but at the end of the day, it's still all about optimizing your gear. It's about making yourself as powerful as you can be. So you've got your regular pieces of gear over here, you know, and then you've got these 3 artifact Azerite pieces here. Azerite armor. So 1, so head, shoulders, chest. Then you have your Heart of Azeroth, which is your necklace, which powers these up. So the higher this heart is, the better you can get these pieces of gear and get them, you know, powered up. And then at an even higher level, guys, I want to take you over quick to the Chamber of the Heart. This is kind of the like control center for your heart. We're gonna go over here. So you go right here and you click this portal. And we're gonna go to the Chamber of the Heart. Pretty sweet. Look at all the players here, huh, guys? Holy moly. Hello, everybody. So we go down here and we click this guy right here. Oh, actually, you know what? I haven't even done this on this character, so I can't even show you guys yet. I have to still do this for him. But basically what you do is you go down in here and you power up your heart in this Chamber of the Hearts. And that's how you make it more powerful. So I still am working on that with this guy. He's literally a fresh character. It's crazy. But you go down in there and you can power up your heart and make it stronger and give it more abilities. So you have like these new things called essences. So they can actually make your heart stronger. They do special abilities. Again, kind of like another talent. So think of like each of your Azerite pieces have talents, and then your heart has talents. Plus you have your regular talents. So it's just a lot of different things going on at the same time. One of the... We're going to head back over to Borealis real quick here. Just click this portal to go back. One of the complaints about Battle for Azeroth is there's too many systems. Too much complication. And I kind of agree. I'm not going to lie. There's so much. Like, obviously, I've been playing this expansion since it came out. So it's been a solid year now. So after a year of playing, you kind of like... You know, you don't get handed all this stuff all at once. You kind of like work through it little by little, you know? It is a lot of systems, guys. I don't know, man. I mean, it's fun, it's cool, but I definitely agree with the player base. Like, there's a lot of systems, and it can get really complicated and kind of challenging to keep up with all of them. And the other complaint is, like, a lot of people feel like you have to do certain content because that's just how you get stronger. So if you want to optimize your gear and be a stronger player, you have to do certain content. And in a way, it's kind of true. It's kind of true. And let's say you hate islands. You cannot stand islands. Like, yeah, you can go out and get artifact power anywhere. I mean, you can go out and whatever, do it here, there, and everywhere. But guess what? To maximize, optimize your gear, and to do it as quick as possible, you have to do islands. It's like, crap. You know, I can't stand it. So now you're playing a game kind of just to check the boxes, if you will, you know, every week, where it's like, all right, this week I have to do my 4 islands. I have to do my Mythic Plus, you know, the highest one I can do. I have to do my emissary quests. Like, you're kind of like pigeonholed into these tasks, I guess, if you will. And that's driven a lot of people crazy. A lot of people want it where it's like, okay, I'm a raider. I like to just raid. I don't want to do all this other shit. They can just raid. Or I like dungeons. I just want to run dungeons. They can just do dungeons, you know? And I'm not saying that you can't. I mean, you definitely can. But if you want to feel accomplished and you want to feel... for me anyway, when I get offline, I feel good when my emissaries are done for you know, like, I'll show you guys. So, like, when this bar right here is empty and I've done all my emissaries, I feel good. When my islands thing down here that I showed you guys, that table, when that bar is full, I feel good. When I have a Mythic Plus chest sitting in this little building down over here with my Mythic Plus gear waiting for me next Tuesday, I feel good. So every week I try to do the islands, try to do the emissaries, and I try to do Mythic when I get strong enough. Do Mythic Plus. And I don't mind that. I've actually had fun with it. I enjoy it. I just love WoW anyway, and I think a lot of people, that's probably the case, where it's like they just love the game. So even if islands aren't like the coolest thing in the world, like you still do it because it's still WoW. It's still a blast, you know? So different strokes for different folks, man. You know, I mean, people that have been playing it for 15 years, they're probably just like, oh my god, I'm going to take a break for a little bit. Maybe I'll come back when they do something a little different. Now, there is good news on the horizon, I think, for everybody. Shadowlands is coming. And Shadowlands, what they're thinking of doing is simplifying a lot of these systems. So a lot of this Azerate stuff and all that, you know, whatever kind of crazy system on system on system is supposed to be, don't quote me because I don't know this to be a fact, but it's supposed to go away. And it's supposed to be much more simple. It's supposed to be back to, hey, I got a piece of gear. It's better than the gear I have. I'm going to put it on and I'm going to keep doing my thing. So theoretically, that's what's coming, and people are very excited. And some of the systems, if you watch some of the videos, some of the ways that they're doing things, it looks like it's going to be a fucking blast. It looks like it's going to be a great expansion. So yeah, guys, that's gear. That's gear. I know that was a long fucking video. I'm so sorry. It's just hard to explain. Like, if you ask anybody, it's hard to explain. What I just did is really hard to explain. If you guys have any specific questions for me, as a new player, please leave me a comment, and I will try to get back to you and give you advice on what your specific question is. But I kind of went over generally what to do. So we've got dungeons, obviously your normal heroic, mythic, mythic plus. You've got your islands, which you can do either normal or heroic. Fill that bar, get your big drop of loot there, and you've got your emissary quests, your world quests, and then all your special event stuff, and then we'll also include in there your war fronts. So going down and doing your war fronts when you can get into them. So look around in the world, guys. Those are kind of the things you're going to want to keep an eye out for. Look at your item level. Know what you can get into. If you can get into war fronts, get into them, you know, and do them if you feel like doing them. And that's kind of where I'm going to come back to say, like, if you really truly don't enjoy doing something like a warfront, if you do it and you're like, this is the dumbest fucking thing, just don't do it. Don't do it just for the sake of doing it. Go have fun. Go do some more dungeons if that's what you enjoy. Because at the end of the day, guys, I want to tell you, WoW is an amazing game. WoW is huge. It's fucking massive. It has a huge player base. But the biggest, most important thing to remember in WoW is to just have fun. Have fun. Whatever that means to you. I don't give a fuck what it is that you're doing, as long as you're having fun and you're making memories with your pals and your friends. That's what gaming is all about, guys. Really, truly, that's what it's all about. So get in there, get in Azeroth, have a fucking blast, you know, and bring your friends in with you if you can, and just do it, guys. I mean, that's what it's all about. Just get in there and get it done, whatever that means to you. Upgrade your battle pets, do your role playing, get new transmog items to look cool, or if you're someone like me, try to get the best gear you can. Do dungeons. I'm actually going to do a little raiding. I'm kind of excited. I haven't been raiding as much as I used to, but I am going to do a little bit of raiding. It might not be with my guild, because of the timing with my job. I work nights now, so it's a little harder to make raid nights, which is why I stopped raiding. But I might do a little bit of a little pug raiding. As much as you guys may think I'm crazy. I miss raiding, so I might do it. So yeah, I'm gonna go in and get some stuff done here, end the video here probably. If you guys, like I said, if you have any specific questions about gear and stuff, just let me know, hit me up, send me a comment, whatever. I just remember, it's not about leveling anymore, it's about gear optimization. How can I get the best gear in the least amount of time and do it efficiently? Efficiency is the key. So I'll leave you guys with that. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Talk to you later. Peace!